I had a conversation with a friend recently who was a grown lady in her 40s, and she had spent a weekend with some of her friends. They all got together, old college friends. They got together, and just the ladies, and they began sharing about, they reconnected after having not all been together for a while, and they began sharing about how their families, marriage is going, everything. They've all got junior high age kids now, so they're in the thick of life.
Yeah.
And one of the things this friend remarked to me was how, I think she said, all 7 of the other women in the group talked about how lonely their husbands were. And I don't know why that messed with me so much, man. Like, I have not surveyed that, and I think I've been really fortunate to my personality. I think I'm predisposed to wanting to seek out relationship, and I enjoy time with people. Like when I go hunting, sometimes I want to go hunt by myself, but I'd rather go with somebody.
Sure.
I enjoy the pickup ride, and I enjoy the cooking out after you hunt. All those things. And so I hadn't taken into account that there might be people who are different than me. And so hearing from this friend of mine about these husbands of her friends, how lonely men are today, I began to read about and watch different content online that's dealing with the same topic for men. And then my wife began to share with me some interactions with her friends sharing about their husbands who are feeling the same way. And these guys would be in their 30s. And so the more I kind of take a straw poll of this, like it's beginning to make me think that there's like an increasing problem here where men are really lonely. We live in the most connected time in history, and all these men are so lonely. They don't have deep, meaningful relationships. And it's really sad for me to think about. And I also feel really grateful that I have the men around me that I do. I don't feel that lonely. I don't think I'm that lonely. God's just handed me great relationships with other men that I can call day or night. But first question, have you observed that? Second question, like what in the hell do we do about it? Like I feel really unsettled about that idea, because I believe that when men flourish and thrive, I think families flourish and thrive, and communities flourish and thrive, and churches and business. And I don't mean that in a way to say women, let's disregard the flourishing of women. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
My interest in this specific context right now is to see that men flourish and are healthy and vibrant relationally, and it sounds like that's not the case.
Yeah, exactly.
What do we do about it?
Well, it is a real phenomenon. It's not. These are not outliers that you're talking about. And of course, we can see this, the surveys and the statistics and all, but it doesn't really hit you until you know several people.
That's right. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. She was telling me, sorry to interrupt, but she was telling me about these friends. These guys are making a lot of money.
Yes.
Man. They have the house that I wish I had. They're driving the vehicles I wish I was driving. They've got, their kids are going to the schools that I wish I could afford to send my kids to. They've got it all. And again, I know this isn't a novel concept to bring up, but they are lonely as the day is long.
Yeah.
And it hit me, like you said, man. It's like, this is in my face now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's not a statistic anymore. It's
right.
people,
exactly.
People that you love. Well, you've heard me say this before. The existential needs of all of us, and including men, is that we all have a need to be known, and we all have a need to be loved, and we all have a need to be valued. Okay, for a long time, society valued men more than they valued women.
Yep.
And so we borrowed a lot of illegal approbation and affirmation and work. And now that has changed, and the feminine is being exalted and the place of women is being recognized and sometimes overdone, then men feel they've lost their affirmation.
Yeah.
They've lost their basis of worth. It's like, okay, so I'm making a bunch of money, but that woman's making more.
Yeah.
And I got a great car, but big deal.
Yeah. So their previous basis of worth is being exposed for what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the answer is, and here's the sad part, the church should have been preaching this message all the time, and that is the only way that hole in your heart for being known can be satisfied is to be known by God.
Yeah.
It's the only way. You can be known by every pretty woman in the world, or every rich man in the world, or every great singer in the world, or every great celebrity in the world. You know, by the way, as a little parenthesis, one of the reasons we're so celebrity conscious is if I could just get a celebrity to know me, then that makes me valuable.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, and so we name drop. I know so and so. I know so and so. It's like, okay, so you're a big deal.
That's right.
Well, it's our effort. I want to be known. I want to be valued. I need to be important. But until a man hears from God that I made you a man, and I like you, and I know you, and I know you're weird. I know you got ideas and lust. I know all, and God says, I know you.
Yeah.
And you don't scare me none. You know, you're welcome at my house.
Yeah.
Until that happens, there's nothing you can do that will fill that hole. And to know that he loves you and can't quit.
Yeah.
He can't quit loving you, like you were talking about earlier. We were talking about your son. He can't quit loving you, and he's taking care of the whole thing. And my sin didn't disqualify me. It actually qualifies me for mercy. And it's when I experience mercy that I really am known.
Yeah.
And so the gospel is the answer.
Yeah.
It always is, but I mean, that's how it works with the men. It's like, I'm telling you, the men that I know personally that are dealing with that whole deal, they just sit and weep when they begin to realize how much God loves them and how valuable they are to him.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that there's an all-out attack from hell on men, on women too, but on men right now because there's the accusation of you have disqualified yourself from being known, from being loved, and being valued.
Yeah.
And so they feel like, what can I do? I've made the money, I've got the deal, I'm still.
And there's still a big hole.
Still big hole.
Do you feel like they're not hearing that in church?
No. Well, thank God in some churches. But so much of the church deal is, you affirm yourself. You feel good about yourself because you are the final authority. You affirm yourself. On what basis is a man to affirm himself? Well, money, prestige, position.
Yeah.
It won't work. It doesn't satisfy. So somebody other than you has got to say you're worth something.
Yeah.
And the only person who knows what that is God.
Yeah.
By the way, going back, the thing that we do at the ranch on the rites of passage for men, that is so important for boys to hear a man or a group of men say, we love you, you're valuable, you're a man, you got what it takes.
Right.
Everybody needs that.
Yeah, that's good. Man, I've been getting all these ads on Facebook in my timeline for these different Christian entrepreneurship seminars.
Yeah.
And the kind of the core ideas that they want to present at these events are like, basically they teach you how to make a lot of money and for God to bless it and all that. And in and of itself, I don't have a problem with entrepreneurship. I think it's an amazing idea and it's God's idea. But to go back to what we were talking about the churches, and this is not an indictment on the church, at least I'm not trying to make it that way, but so much of our thinking in church pertaining to leadership or pertaining to masculinity is what do you do? How much money do you make? And that gets woven into your standing with God. God's blessing you.
Yeah.
Obviously, God's blessing you because your company's worth $100 million. And that is a pervasive idea that is seeping into the hearts of men, that is perpetuating this loneliness thing.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have that money, and even when you do, the void is still there.
Yeah.
Because your identity's been wrapped up in that. And now, like you said, with this cultural movement where women are now being appropriately valued at the level that they should have been all along,
Right.
men are like, well, wait a minute, where's my value now? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, my heart broke hearing those stories, both from Corinne and this other friend of mine. And I am hopeful that as we continue to process stuff like this and continue to do the work that we're doing at Kerygma to advance the gospel message that, to your point, is the solution for this stuff.
It is.
I'm hopeful that we'll see men become less lonely.
You know, the one thing that we hit at a lot at Kerygma, and I hope we don't ever stop, is that you don't use God or His principles or whatever to leverage being success some other way. I can't get God to bless my business so I can compete with so-and-so so I can feel good about myself.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
You know, you don't bargain with God.
Yeah.
He already knows you, and He already loves you, and He's already given you every blessing in Christ Jesus.
That's good.
So unpack that.
That's so good. This is good.